essence of the strategy items listed there. So, the first thing to do, as instructed, would be to develop ideas and opinions from the committee themselves. So we collected and analysed as much as we could from within the membership of A&M, and then we started creating and collating more information from other stakeholders. We initiated a consultation process with a questionnaire in April 2007 and continued with a second stage with another questionnaire or an amended questionnaire a year later. And this resulted in huge numbers of responses, and they were collated and analysed at A&M 11 in April 2008. Over 600 responses to the Maritime Buoy System questionnaire were received through the IALA national members. And it did cover the spectrum: individual users, pilot associations, harbour master associations, shipping interests, hydrographic offices, ACE Navigation and other maritime authorities. And they came from all over the globe. No part or region of the world was singular in not responding. It was pretty good coverage evenly across the globe. The findings were extensive and took quite a bit of analysing to get them down to a reasonable and manageable list. But we found some significant synergies across the piece. Everybody, almost everybody, agreed that the fundamental principles of the MBS system that had worked so well for 30 years should be retained. But there have been changes, they were admitted, and innovations and technological developments meant that we could revise and improve the way we present the Maritime Buoy System to the user. Ideally, obviously, everyone would like to see a unified marking arrangement in principle with System A and B resolved. But almost everybody said that is almost impossible, impractical, costly, could be detrimental to safety, and probably unachievable. So quite early on we were able to resolve, no, we can't change to one system. We accept there are two, get used to regions A and B as we have, and move on to reviewing the system itself. Suggestions for more commonality between the marking regions A and B were identified, like characteristics particularly, and some of the consultation was progressed by the committee during the revision of the existing maritime system buoys booklet. You would recognise well the chartlets that have been in use for a very long time. Having considered all the responses to the survey and the questionnaire, the committee, following much debate, captured these following points as the key elements that will shape the revision. And this is what we encapsulated to put to Council for their approval to revise the booklet. The buoy system is effective and shouldn't be fundamentally altered. The indication was that there's general satisfaction, and a substantial contribution had been made to safety of navigation since its inception. Nobody can doubt that. Significant opportunity to improve the scope, taking advantages of innovations and new technologies. It's unrealistic to consider progressing to a unified system. The IALA Emergency Wreck Marking Buoy, developed 2004/5 and on trial since 2006 in a number of regions of the world, was gaining acceptance and should be fully incorporated into the Maritime Buoy System. There is considerable support for the view that the emergency wreck marking buoy, when deployed, should remain on station for as long as required. There's some support for the emergency wreck marking buoy to be redesignated danger marking buoy. I'll come back to that later. It wasn't easy. There's been a proliferation in the use of special marks as an all-purpose aid. We all have problems with that, and it's desirable to distinguish the different uses of special marks. The support for redefining special marks to allow its use as a navigational mark, contentious issue, and the support for the special marks of additional IHO-approved symbology attached to the buoy, pictograms, speed limits, that sort of thing. And there's been a proliferation in the use of cardinal marks with consequent confusion or inability to distinguish the meaning of individuators. that was one of the real driving factors behind the emergency wreck marking buoy. The fact that there had been serious accidents, and the investigators found that the bridge team were confused by the number of quick flashing and long flashing white lights in the vicinity of a wreck marked by cardinal marks. We wanted to find something completely different. The support for the isolated danger mark, having clearer guidance on its use, and having some indication of the extent of the hazard. Isolated danger is a great mark, it's extensively used, but there's no way to say how close you can go to it, even though it should be positioned right over the hazard. It's desirable that the revised document makes reference to existing ILA guidance on the efficient disposition of types of buoys. It was a key issue that we need to have information in the new Maritime Buoy System booklet, where to find guidance and recommendations on how to use ACE navigation recommended by IAL. The revised booklet should also make reference to new innovations and integration of new technologies, such as sequential and synchronized lights, the use of blue lights, radio ACE navigation, and AIS as an ACE navigation. A very long debate, and the working group responsible for the review of the booklet had to go back to plenary at A&M on a number of occasions to continue the debate on whether the Buoy System booklet should and could be expanded to include the references necessary to radio ACE navigation, AIS, and other technologies. The outcome was to extend the scope of the booklet from the Buoy System to the Buoy System and other ACE navigation. So Working Group 3 was dedicated by the A&M Committee to this review, and it took that period of 4 years from 2006 to 2010. Initially chaired for the first 2 years by Eric Anderson of the US Coast Guard, to whom we owe a great debt of gratitude for his hard work, and subsequently chaired from 2008 to 2010, due to Eric's departure from the US Coast Guard, by Shengli Jin of China MSA. Again, he did a huge amount of work. We had a number of conference calls, this working group intersessionally, and of course, the way we were spread around the world meant that André Chateaubert had to get up at 6 in the morning. We lucky people in Europe were about midday. Shengli Jin was in his pajamas, had his supper, and then came on the phone for about 3 hours. It was 2 in the morning once, but he actually fell asleep during the conference call. We had to shout at Beijing to wake him up. But terrific effort from these people. We couldn't have done it without. The Council agreed at that stage that the committee was to revise the original booklet in accordance with the action plan that we laid before them, and put the proposal to Council. And they appreciated the extensive consultation was the valuable information that would facilitate the revision. The timescale we were trying to achieve was to produce the first draft of the revised booklet for circulation by the 2nd of February 2009. That would allow the other 3 committees to have their say, and they did, about the draft by A&M 13. We met in 30th of March to the 3rd of April 2009. We were to present the draft booklet to the Council on the 25th of May for approval, and then complete it at A&M 14 in October 2009. That went slightly off the rails because the Council didn't approve it. It came back to the committee with a lot of comments from the Council, for which we're extremely grateful. A number of Council members commented extensively. I'll name but 2, and that's Stuart Russell from Irish Lights and James Collicott from South Africa. Their contribution in amending some of the work we'd done, picking up some of the faults we'd been guilty of, was invaluable, and the booklet is a better piece because of it. And the launch of the final booklet, approved by Council, is to take place here in Cape Town this week. And heads of delegation will find this strange-coloured, strange-looking, futuristic MBS booklet available to them with the nav guide to replace that one, which is out of the window. So please don't miss the opportunity to get